Hey guys, so today we're going to cover interest. So more specifically compound interest. We have simple interest, but for this lesson we'll use compound. Our compound interest formula. So for compound interest, is FV equals PV times, in parentheses, 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. Okay. All right, and then what each of these stands for, so FV, that stands for future value. That's the money that you want to make, or the amount that you want to have. So like, we'll see a lot of examples about savings accounts, and FV, that's the amount that you want to have in your savings account. Or you're buying a house, you need $100,000. $100,000 would be the future value. That's the amount that you want. PV stands for present value. That's the amount that you have. So sometimes, really sadly, that's zero, right? Or sometimes you're opening an account and you're putting $1,000 in it. The next one, this is just like the number 1 plus R, which R stands for our interest rate. And we'll make sure that when we put it in here, we'll do it as a percent, or as a decimal, sorry. It'll normally be written as a percent, but we'll write it as a decimal. All right, N stands for number of times compounded. So what that means is sometimes you'll have an example where they'll say that that account is compounded quarterly, and that means that it's going to be compounded 4 times. So we would take the amount of our interest rate and divide it by 4, because it'll increase 4 times a year. And then the last one is T, which just stands for time. And this is normally always in years. I haven't really seen very many where it's not in years. So we're going to go over one example together. I have it already written down. So, example 1 says, suppose you invest $2,600, that's a lot of money, into a savings account with a 4.25% annual interest rate. That compounds quarterly. How much money would be in the account after 5 years? So suppose you invest $2,600 into a savings account with a 4.25% annual interest rate that compounds quarterly. How much money would be in the account after 5 years? Okay. All right, and I have our formula up here at the top. So we're gonna go ahead and lay out what each thing is. FV is what we're trying to find. We don't know what that is. PV, that's our present value, which is the amount that we start the account with, so $2,600. R is our interest rate. They wrote it as a percent here. We need to change it to a decimal. So we move the decimal place over to the left twice. That's 0.0425. Okay, N is how many times it compounds. It's compounded quarterly. Quarterly, that's 4 times a year. So we'll say this is 4. Okay, and then the last one is time. And that's the amount it'll be in the account, which is 5 years. Okay, next we're going to fill out our equation. So future value is the thing that's left blank. We don't know what that is. PV is 2,600 times 1 plus their rate is 0.0425 over N, which is 4, times N, which again is 4, times T, which is 5. Okay. I suggest that when you go to calculate all of this, that you type the entire thing into Desmos. You can't type in FV, but you can type everything after the equal sign. So if you'll just go to desmos.com and do that, after you were to calculate all of that, you would get a number. The amount that I got for our future value is $3,211.99. Okay, so that means that you just kept that money sitting in your account for 5 years. This $2,600, and it increased to this after 5 years. All right, now the next question says, how much would be in the savings account after 50 years? So everything will stay the same. The only thing that will change is the T. So now T equals 50. So you have the same equation, future value equals $2,600 times 1 plus 0.0425 over 4, then 4, and instead of times 5, this time it's times 50. Okay, so this means you're going to keep this amount in an account for 50 years. You're not going to add anything to it. You're not going to do anything with it. You're just going to let it sit there. So if you left this money in an account for 50 years at this interest rate, your future value would be $21,526.87. Once again, you can just type this into Desmos in order to get this number, desmos.com. All right, so then you start thinking, is it worth it? It'd be cool to find an account with a higher interest rate maybe. All right, so if you go down here at the bottom, we have some vocabulary. So these are words that you're going to see pretty often. Annually, that just means it happens 1 time per year. Semi-annually means it happens 2 times per year. Quarterly means it happens 4 times per year. Monthly, I'm sure you already know, happens 12 times a year. Weekly happens 52 times a year. Now these two at the bottom, people think they're interchangeable and they're not. So bi-weekly, I'm going to write this out to the side. Bi-weekly means every other week. So a lot of times you get paid bi-weekly, right? Like you probably, if you work, you get paid every other Friday, right? But semi-monthly means 2 times a month. Okay. If you work and you get paid bi-weekly, you'll know that these are very different things. Because sometimes when you work bi-weekly, or when you get paid bi-weekly, you have those really good months where there's 3 paydays in a month. Because there's 5 Fridays, right? So you get paid every other Friday. Well, sometimes you get paid 3 times. But semi-monthly means strictly 2 times a month. So for instance, that could mean that you get paid on the 15th and you get paid on the 30th, okay? That means that per year, these are different numbers. So semi-monthly, if it happens 2 times a month, well, we have 12 months in a year. It's gonna happen 2 times every month, so 12 times 2 is 24, okay? But if it's bi-weekly, that means it's every other week. That means we have 52 weeks in a year, and we divide that by 2, which means 26. Okay, so bi-weekly happens 26 times a year. Semi-monthly happens 24 times a year.